September 1st, 1890. As I sit in the solitude of my chamber, with the autumn winds whispering through the ancient oaks outside, I find myself compelled to take up my pen and record the tale of my life. Perhaps it is the chill in the air that stirs such a melancholy in my soul, or perhaps it is the weight of many secrets I carry. Whatever the reason, I must confess that this exercise in retrospection is not solely for posterity. There is a certain catharsis in the act of confession, even if it is only to the cold, unfeeling pages of my leather-bound diary. Allow me to introduce myself properly, for I am certain that my name will be remembered, though the manner in which I shall be recalled depends largely on the whims of those who survive me. I am Lady Blackwood, the widow of the late Lord Blackwood, though the title itself means very little to me. What matters is the journey that led me to where I stand today, a woman both admired and feared in equal measure. It is strange to think how far I've come, considering the humble circumstances of my birth. I was not born into grand halls of nobility, nor did I enter this world with a silver spoon in my mouth. No, my origins are far more modest, a fact I have taken great pains to conceal from the prying eyes of society. My father, a man of little means but great ambition, served as a clerk in a small law office in the town of Wolverton. My mother, a woman of gentle spirit and quiet strength, did her best to manage our meager household while raising her 3 daughters. I, the youngest of the lot, was a child of both her dreams and her disappointments. It is said that a woman's character is shaped by the hands that rock her cradle, but I believe that mine was forced and forged in the fires of necessity. From a tender age, I understood that beauty was a currency in our society, a currency that could be traded for power, security, and influence. It was a lesson my mother never had the heart to teach, but one I learned nonetheless as I watched the women around me, both the fortunate and the downtrodden, navigate the labyrinth society order of our time. I was not blind to my own potential. Even as a child, I knew that my dark almond-shaped eyes and smooth brown skin set me apart. In worlds where a lady's worth was often measured by her appearance, I recognized that I held the key to a door that might otherwise remain closed. But beauty alone would not be enough. It needed to be sharpened into a weapon, wielded with precision and care. To this end, I began to study the women who had succeeded in life, not through birthright, but through sheer force of will. I observed how they moved through the world, how they manipulated their circumstances to their advantage, and how they commanded attention with just a glance or a carefully chosen word. My education in these matters was, of course, self-directed. There were no books or tutors to guide me in the art of deception and persuasion. Instead, I learned through observation, through trial and error, and most importantly, through the countless stories shared in hushed tones by the servants and maids who populated our small, drafty house. It was from them that I learned the importance of secrets, how they could be both a shield and a weapon, depending on how they were used. I understood early on that the most powerful people were those who knew the most, and I made it my mission to become one of them. When I was 16, my father's untimely death left our family in a precarious position. The small inheritance he left behind was barely enough to keep us from destitution, and the future seemed bleak. It was at this moment that I made the first of many calculated decisions that would define the course of my life. I resolved to leave Wolverton and seek my fortune elsewhere. My sisters, both older and married to men of moderate means, had settled into lives of domesticity. But I wanted more. I needed more. London was my destination, that great, sprawling city of opportunity and danger. It was there that I believed I could carve out a place for myself among the elite, though I knew the path would be fraught with peril. Armed with little more than a few pounds, a trunk of modest clothing, and an unshakable resolve, I set out on my journey. My mother, bless her heart, wept at my departure, but I assured her that I would return one day, a lady of wealth and status. When, even then, I knew it. I was a promise I might not keep. My arrival in London was marked by equal parts excitement and trepidation. The city was everything I had imagined, bustling, vibrant, and teeming with life. But it was also a place where one could easily be swallowed whole if not careful. I found lodging in a small boarding house in Kensington, sharing a room with a seamstress who worked long hours and spoke little. It was there, in the dim light of a flickering candle, that I began to form my plan. I knew that I would need to reinvent myself, to shed the remnants of my provincial past and emerge as someone new. Someone who could command the attention of the wealthy and powerful. I began by adopting a new name, one that could carry the weight of aristocracy, even if it was a fiction. Lady Blackwood had a certain ring to it, a name that suggested both elegance and mystery. With this new identity, I set about making the necessary connections. It was not easy. The world I sought to enter was guarded by gates of iron and stone, and those who held the keys were not inclined to share them with a stranger of unknown origin. But I was patient. I attended the soirees and balls where the wealthy mingled, always keeping to the edges of the room, observing and learning. I did not yet have the means to adorn myself in the finest silks and jewels, but I made do with what I had, knowing that my beauty and bearing would speak for themselves. It was at one such gathering that I caught the eye of Lord Blackwood, a man of considerable means and influence. He was much older than I, with graying hair and a tired smile. But his interest was clear. I saw in him an opportunity, a way to secure the future I had always dreamed of. And so I played my part to perfection, weaving a web of intrigue and the allure that ensnared him completely. Our courtship was brief, and within a year I found myself a married woman, installed in a grand estate with servants at my beck and call. But as I write these words, I cannot help but reflect on the price I have paid for my success. For in becoming Lady Blackwood, I have also become something else, something darker, more dangerous. I am no longer the girl from Wolverton, innocent and hopeful. I am a woman who has made her choices, who has embraced the path that leads into shadow. I have often wondered if there is any redemption for someone like me, someone who has traded love for power, honesty for deception. But such thoughts are fleeting, for I know that I cannot turn back now. The path I have chosen is one that demands sacrifice, and I am prepared to make it. The world may see me as a lady, but I know that beneath the silks and jewels there beats the heart of a survivor, a woman who will stop at nothing to secure her place in this world. And so I close this entry with a resolve as firm as the iron gates that guard my new life. I will continue down this dark path, wherever it may lead, for I know that it is the only way forward. The girl once was is gone, and in her place stands Lady Blackwood, a woman of ambition, cunning, and perhaps one day regret.